So this is now the Belzer Rebbe, the base Aaron, Rabbi Yeshua of Belz, asked the following question. L'chora ino muvan my dekamar boltkin es hachametz v'halo boltkin es habayis min hachametz shebo. So the Rebbe asked, this is such a good question. He says, what does it mean boltkin es hachametz? We check the chametz. We don't check the chametz, we check the home. Right? It should be boltkin es habayis. We go ahead and we check the home for the chametz that's inside of it. So ultimately, this was the question that the Rebbe raised. Right? This was the question. Why does it say Orla Arba'as are Boltkin as Hachametz, when in fact it should say Orla Arba'as are Boltkin as Habayis? Says there was something amazing. Nishar Kushya is fine. Ben Hashomim. So this was Rabbi Yeshua of Belz. Ben Hashomim. Hayagam beno Harava Kavish Rabbi Sachar Dov mi Belz. So amongst the people who were listening was the Rebbe's son, Rabbi Sachar Dov of Belz. Pamachas yeshivasim chasidim anshe ma'isa, chazra koshes aviv. So one time, the son of Yeshua of Belz, Rabbi Sachar Dov of Belz, was sitting with his father's chasidim, and he brought up this question of his father. Why does it say Orla Arba'asar Boltkin as HaChametz? On the night of the 14th, we check Chametz. Should be Orla Arba'asar Boltkin as HaBayis. We check the home. Upasach liyashev es hakushya b'mashal. And the son, Rabbi Sachar Dov, decided to answer the question with a mashal. Lema davar doma. To what can this be compared? It's actually interesting. L'shnei sochrim shenasu liyirid, paragraph base, limkar schorasam. Two merchants, the sheets are right in the back. Two merchants who went to the fair, Yirid is like the fair, to go ahead and sell their merchandise. V'hitzliach Hashem darkam, shebizman katzar machro es hakol, ubesimcha hechinu es tzadeim lachzor lebeisam muktam yoser masha chashu tchila. So what happened? So Baruch Hashem, they were very successful, and as a result, they were able to sell off all of their wares, and therefore went ahead and decided to go home early. Okay, they finished early, decided to go home. Kevan shekein hichlitu lachzor ragli kidei lachsoch es demei schiras hagala. So what happened? So they wanted to save a bit of money. They go with come with as much money as possible. So therefore they decided not to hire a wagon, but instead decided to make the journey home on foot. Umina machshav l'maisa yatzlu derech b'simcha. Lachar kama shaos hisiafu meirov halicha ve'echlitu loses tenuma lafafeim umenucha la'atzmosehem. So what happens? They're a little bit into the journey, and very quickly they realize that they're kind of exhausted. So they decide to take a rest. Okay. Miyad nis'ora eslam ha'sha'ila heichal lahachbi es tzurar kaspan ve'ebitu kol v'kol v'istaklu ana v'ana v'yaru ki'in ish ki'im eder shal paros ra'os be'efer ubelei batuach nishkavu al adesha ve'es tamilam talu al echad ha'itzim. So therefore the marshal says that what happens? So they figure out we have to go ahead and rest a little bit. So they decided to put their cloaks together with their money bags on, I should say their cloaks right now, on one of the trees. Paragraph Gimel. So they decided to put their cloaks, as well as in the cloaks the money that they had made, on one of the trees. They figured, okay, there's no one around, so therefore they decided to go ahead and, I'm sorry, actually I skipped the page. I skipped the line. Miyad nis'ora etzlam ha'sheila heichal lahach bi'estrar kasbam ve'abitu kol v'kol v'istaklu ana v'ana v'yiru ki'in ish kim eder shal paros ra'os be'efer v'leiv batuach nishkavu ala desha v'estamilam talu al achar ha'etzim. So they looked around, and they saw that no one was around. All they saw were cows grazing here and there. So they decided, you know what, this is a safe place to be able to place our stuff. Safe place to be able to place our stuff. So ultimately, again, they hung everything on the tree and they went to sleep. Paragraph Gimel. Ach sochrim elu lo yadu v'lo avinu sheparos enon roos levadan b'stei mir'eh. This is Rabbi Sachar Dov of Belz. The son said, but what they forgot is that cows don't usually wander on their own. And where there are cows, there's always what? There's always a shepherd. Ubevada yesh roa hamanig es edro v'ura echan talu es tarmilam. So there was a shepherd, and of course the shepherd saw where these two unsuspecting merchants had hung their cloaks together with their money bags. V'achin kasher ra'a hala shenafa aleim tardema nigash el hatarmil upishpesh im yesh sham kasef. So sure enough, as soon as the merchants fell asleep, so what happens? The shepherd makes his way over to the tree, checks the pockets in the tree. Uma rabba haisa simchaso kasher matza shekalakis mali maos. Paragraph Dalet. And how happy was the shepherd? Payday, right? How happy was the shepherd when he puts his hands inside the pockets of the cloaks, and what does he find? He finds bags filled with money. Paragraph Dalet. Miyad pachas alav yitzro. V'natal es kol hakesef liatzmo. So he took all of the money for himself. V'tachas hakesef. Now here's the problem. The problem is he needs to make sure that the shepherds don't suspect anything. So what does he do? V'tachas hakesef mili es hatarmil bigilolim shal paros. What does he do? He fills the pockets with manure. It's heavy. It'll take up space, right? And therefore, again, they won't realize what has occurred. In order that ultimately, again, the merchants will not go ahead and realize what has occurred. And they will not suspect that someone has gone ahead and taken their money. So the plan works. V'kasher his oru hasochre mishnasam samchu biraosam es tamilam taloi alaitz v'emshichu b'darkam besimcha. And again, now the two merchants are so happy, a bit refreshed from a little rest. Baruch Hashem, the cloaks are still hanging on the tree, and Shalom Yisrael. Ulam kasher paschu es hatarmil. But here's the problem. They then decided, okay, you know what, they're not totally foolish. They wanted to check the money before they went ahead, and they went on their way. And therefore what? And therefore opened up, and what did they see? That instead of money, they found manure. And listen to this, they turned to each other with wondrous puzzlement and said, Eich yitachin shaparos higiu l'rosh ha'ilan v'natlu es-tzrar hakesef umilu osam gilalim. These are some smart cows, right? How did the cows climb into the tree, take the money, right, and deposit manure inside of our pockets? How could this be such incredible cows? Ubisichlusam, and in their foolishness, hiftiru mashein malasos shari es aparos yefshel l'tvoa b'din Torah. And Nebuch, they resigned themselves, Nebuch, to the loss, because what am I going to do? I can't go ahead and bring the cows to a din Torah, right? I can't summon the cows to Beis Din. Ubekach siem maharid estivara. So I'll say this was the end of the mashal that Rabbi Yisachar Dov of Belz said over to the Hasidim, Kasher kal me'aznav poritz b'schok al tipshusam shalasochrim. So of course, after hearing this story, everybody started laughing. They started laughing, why? About the foolishness of the merchants. The cows, that's what you're focused on. You think the cows climbed up into the tree, stole your money, and replaced the money with manure. They began to go ahead and laugh. Ma bein uvdazu l'koshias mahari mibel's zchusa yagin alenu. And they did not understand, they did not appreciate the incredible wisdom that was embodied in this mashal. So we'll say, you know what we'll have to do? We'll stop here. I know I'm leaving you right on the cliffhanger. We'll stop here. And I'm going to record the second part of this mashal in Mir Hashem after shir this morning, and we'll post it. Shkoyach. Yeah, I'm sorry. You'll get it. I promise. Yeah. So make sure. sure we get to today. I have to finish. Okay. Actually, the truth is, I really do have time to. All right. It's all right. You know what? Well,
you can finish at the end.
I'll finish at the end. We'll do the daf. I'll finish at the end. Good. Thank you, Simon. All right, Rabbi, say good morning. Let's begin. So today is our last daf of Maseches Chullin. A beautiful, beautiful Gemara ahead of us today. So remember again, we are picking up today's daf is Kuf Mem Beis. We are picking up on Kuf Mem Aleph Amud Beis 141b. And we are picking up. We left off Hahu. Let's actually pick up by that Hahu. It's I'm going to count from the top because it's less time. So it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 lines down in the wide lines. We actually mentioned this case. We began this case yesterday. Let's begin from this point today. Says the Gemara, Hahu de gazinhu legapa v'shalchas. Remember again, what we were speaking about was the idea that this individual clipped the wings of the mother bird, and then he sent her away. Now, obviously, his intention was what? He wanted to fulfill the mitzvah of shiluach hakein, so he wanted to fulfill the mitzvah ultimately of sending away the mother bird, but he also wanted the mother bird for himself. So what's the best way to ensure that? To go ahead and clip her wings. So he clipped the wings, sent her away, but then captured her afterwards. So what's the halacha? So Nagde Rabbi Huda. So Rabbi Huda flogged him. Why did Rabbi Huda flog him? Because Rabbi Huda felt that he was acting inappropriately by compromising the mother bird ultimately from flying away. Now, also what's unfolding over here is as follows. What's unfolding over here is that halacha lemaisa, the Rabbi Huda's understanding that the halacha of shaliach to shalach es ha'im, sending away the mother, is mamish allowing the mother to take flight. Therefore, anything you do which compromises the mother's ability to take flight, by definition, is going to be asr. Therefore, he goes ahead and he flogs him. So Rabbi Huda. So the Gemara says, Amarlei zil Rabbi legatfei v'shalcha. Well, here's what you have to do: let the wings grow back, and then go ahead and send her away again. So allow the wings to grow back, and then you could fulfill the mitzvah of shiluach hakein in the appropriate way. So the Gemara says, Kiman. Therefore, so let's analyze this for just a moment. Who's it now? Rabbi Huda. Now, the part that the Gemara is focusing on over here is Rabbi Huda. Rabbi Huda gave this guy Malchus. So, in accordance with whose opinion did Rabbi Huda administer Malchus? So, come on, Iike Rabbi Huda. If it's like Rabbi Yehuda Loke ve'in Mishaleach. So, remember again, this goes back to yesterday's daf. We had a fundamental machlokes about what happens if you take the mother. Before you go ahead and send her away from the young. So I actually grab the mother. I don't send her away. I grab the mother bird. So now the shaila is, I want to take the young. So what do I do now? So remember again, we had a machlokes. Rabbi Huda said that ultimately again you get malchus because you violated the lav and the assay of shaliach the shalach lo sikach, but inu shaliach. But there's no such thing as putting the mother back on the nest and then sending her away. Because Rabbi Huda's logic is the mitzvah of shiluach hakein is what we call the mitzvah me'ikara. The only way the mitzvah works is if sending away the mother bird is the first interaction you have with this mother. If there's some other previous interaction, you have by definition obviated the performance of the mitzvah. That's Rabbi Huda. So if it's Rabbi Huda, so ultimately again you get malchus. It's true, you get malchus, but there's no longer any more halacha of having to send away the mother bird. And therefore, again, why would Rav Yehuda have told the guy, let the wings grow back and then send her away? Iike Rabbanan, and if it's like the Rabbanan, Mishaleach ve'eno loke. According to the Rabbanan, so Shiluach hakein is a lav hanitak la'aseh, which means what? Which means that halacha l'maaseh, even if I went ahead and I seized the mother instead of sending her away, I could remedy that how? Put her back on the nest and what? Send her away, start again. So therefore again, and there wouldn't be malchus. So both say, so who, in accordance with whose opinion was Rav Yehuda administering malchus? To which the Gemara said, the Olam kirabanon. In fact, it was like the position of the Rabbanon, umakos mardus midirabanon. And Rabbi say, in fact, again, we were passing like the Rabbanon, and therefore again, that's why Rabbi say the real eitzah over here. The real Eitzah was what? Was go ahead and put the mother back, right? Put the mother back, let her wings grow back, and then go ahead and send her away. That's in accordance ultimately again with the Rabbanon. So why did Rav Yehuda administer Malchus? Or we call Malchus Mardos. These were rabbinic lashes. And sometimes again you see this, that the Rabbanon administer lashes when they feel that there's a need to do so, when there's a need to make a statement, when there's a need to reinforce halacha. That's called makas mardos. Good. Hahuda asal kamei dirava. So by the way, we saw that halacha already yesterday, right? That the Shulchan Aruch Paskins, this is in Reish Tzadik Beis Sif Dalid. Shulchan Aruch Paskins. Shulchan Aruch Paskins as follows: V'imrotza lachtoch kinafea kodem sheyishalchena kadei shelo tuchal lifrach v'yikachena eina rashai elu yishalchena miyad im knafea kadei shetuchal lifrach ula'achar sheteitzi miyado yikachena im yertzeh. So we'll say, listen to this. So the halacha l'maaseh Shulchan Aruch says you are not permitted to clip the wings of the mother prior to sending her away in an effort to prevent her from taking full flight, right? Rather again, you have to let her take full flight. If you want, you could capture her afterwards. And if you did clip her wings, you should wait till her wings grow back, and then you can go ahead and send her. So two interesting halachas that come out from this. So first of all, interestingly enough, sending away the mother bird. So sending away the mother bird, halacha l'maaseh, does not preclude you in any way from tracking her down and capturing her. So for example, again, if you send away the mother bird, once she takes flight, if you happen to be an especially good sprinter, right, and you run after her, halacha l'maaseh, you could capture her and eat her. That's fine. The idea that you can't do is you can't clip her wings. Right? You can't clip her wings from preventing her from taking flight, and if you did so, you have to wait till the wings regenerate ultimately before going ahead and fulfilling the mitzvah. So the Gemara goes weiter. Listen to this. So a guy came before Rava. Amrlei tema mahu. So the man asked Rava, what is the status of a tema? Rashi says tema is of taru. It's a kosher bird. So he's asking, is a tema subject to the halachos of shiluach hakein? Tema mahu. Amar. Lo yada haygavra da'oftar chayv l'shaluchay. So Rabbi says to the guy, I don't understand, what's your shayla? You know that the tema is a kosher bird. If you know that the tema is a kosher bird, why are you asking me this shayla? In other words, it's obvious. If it's a kosher bird, then it is subject to the halachos of shiluach hakein. Amarle. So Rabbi said, maybe where your question was, Dilma chad bi asahu deramya. Right? So maybe Rabbi said, maybe it was your question, if there's only one egg or one chick in the nest, is there a chiyuv for shiluach hakein under that circumstance? Now, also remember again, we already saw this, but the reason why this would be a shiloh was why? Because ultimately, again, the pasuk frames it in the plural, banim or efrochim, right? So barbeitzim or efrochim. So because it phrases it in the plural, maybe again the mitzvah of shiluach hakein only applies to two or more chicks, two or more eggs. And remember again, we worked through this in the Gemara. So Rav says to the guy, maybe that was your kasha. So the man says, yes, that was my kasha. Right? What happens if there's only one egg? What happens if there's only one chick? So the Gemara says, so Amrlei Hai Yadi Lecha Masnisinhi. So the truth is good kasha. This is a Mishnah. What does the Mishnah say? Ein Sham Ela Efrach Echad Ubeitza Achos Chayiv L'Shaliach. So ultimately, again, even if there's only one egg, or even if there's only one chick, you are chayiv ultimately to go ahead and send it away. Shalcha va'ah. So the Gemara says, chayiv l'shaleach. Fine. So we'll say, so this is how Rabbi Paskin for the guy. So ultimately, again, the question that the man came to ask him was, I have a nest, it only has one egg. Am I chayiv in shiluach? Am I chayiv in shiluach? Rava says, yes, you are chayiv in shiluach. It's a Mishnah. So the questioner, sent away the mother bird. Now watch this. Va'ahadar le Rava parstaki v'tafsa. Afterwards, what did Rava do? Rava set a trap and he captured the bird. He set a trap and he captured the bird. The Gemara says, v'leichosh lichashada. So doesn't Rava have to be worried that this looks a little bit shady? In other words, the guy came to ask you a shayla. Do you have an obligation to send away the mother bird or not? You said yes. And that very bird that you paskin about now, what? now you go ahead and you trap it. I will say, now to be clear, again, remember, did Rava do anything wrong? Of course, this is the halacha, right? The halacha, happily somebody asked him Shaila, he didn't do anything wrong. The issue that the Gemara is raising over here is there not an obligation ultimately, again, to kind of be beyond reproach, right? Especially for the posek, especially for Rava, do you not want to make sure that at the end of the day, right, your actions are above any type of potential issues? So which the Gemara says, Kila achar yad. Ultimately, again, Kila achar yad, look at Rashi, Rabbi, Kila achar yad really means like with the shinui. Although in this context, what it means, if you look at Rashi, Kila achar yad, it's the last of the short lines in Rashi. Meirachok piri shamatzuda, shelo heven ha-mishaleach. Rava set the trap far away. So therefore, again, the person who was asking the question really did not know what had occurred. So Rava set the trap in a way that it was not clear that this was the same bird. Good. To which the Gemara says, fine. Tan Rabbanon. What's another interesting case? Yone shovach v'yone aliyah chayavos b'shlach. Let's listen to this case. Birds, right, or doves in a dovecote, right, or doves in an aliyah. They're both saying now it's important to qualify what kind of birds we're talking about over here. So we'll say, so these are, now remember, a dovecote is often owned by an individual. An aliyah, an upper story, is owned by an individual. These birds, however, are free-range doves. In other words, they are choosing to make their home in this dovecote, but they are free to come and go. They are not owned by the owner, right? Same thing again with the aliyah. They're free-range doves. They are free to come and go. So we'll say, now watch this. So therefore, again, because they're free, because remember, again, if they were owned by the owner, is there an obligation of shiluach hakein? No. Because remember, again, this is ki kari lecha kan sipar bader, ki kari prat lemezuman. So again, I want to point out, this is ownerless birds in someone's property. In someone's property. So watch this. So chayavos b'shiluach. So halacha number one is they're chayav in shiluach. You have to send them away before taking the eggs. However, va'asuros mishum gezel mishum darkei shalom. We'll say now this is very interesting. Now because they're chayav in shiluach, what does that mean? That means ultimately again they are ownerless. Yet, what's supposed to say? Because they're ownerless, so let's say again, it's Reuven's dovecote. Can I go over to Reuven's dovecote and grab a dove, one of these free-range doves out of there? Can I do that? The answer would seem to be yes. Yes, I don't understand. If it's ownerless, it's ownerless. Yet the Gemara says, Asuros mishum gezum mishum darkei shalom. You're not allowed to take it, right? You're not allowed to take the birds from there, mishum darkei shalom, in order to preserve communal peace. Which Rabbi says is another way of saying, technically speaking, the doves are not owned, and we'll discuss why that is. Right? The doves are not owned, but never. So therefore, technically speaking, you can take it, but because of Darkei Shalom, we tell you not to take it. So the Gemara says, okay, let's analyze this. So we'll say, you'll see, by the way, that these are two inherently contradictory statements. On one hand, to say that the birds are chayiv in shiluach means what? Means what? They are ownerless. To say that you can steal it because of Darkei Shalom means that they are owned. So it says the Gemara, Vim Isa lahada am Rabbi Yosi Rabbi Chanina chatzero shel adam konelo shelo midaito. But 1 second. If you hold like Rabbi Yosi Rabbi Chanina, who says what Rabbi say, that a person's chaser has the ability to acquire on his behalf even without his knowledge, then what Rabbi say? What does that mean? Then these birds should what? These birds should be owned by Reuven, the owner of the dovecote. So therefore, Karikan, ki kare prat lemezuman. They both say these should be owned birds. And if they are owned birds, then they should be exempt from the obligation of shiluach. Amarav, listen to this. Beitza im yitzias rubahu di'ichaye b'shiluach. So we'll say, Rav makes an interesting distinction. When does an egg become subject to the obligation of shiluach, which Abosai means? At what point in time do you have to shoo away the mother bird before taking the egg? When the majority of the egg has exited the mother. Mikna lokani adatipa lachatzero. But interestingly enough, the owner does not acquire the egg until when? Until it falls into his chatzer. So I say, interestingly enough, there's different stages. When the majority of the egg exits the mother, it becomes chayiv in shiluach. When only once the egg falls into the chatzer, does the chatzer have the ability to acquire it. V'chikatani chayavas b'shiluach mikamei detipo lechatzero. So maybe you'll say, therefore again, when the Bryce over here says that in this case you have to send away the mother, when is that? That's prior to the eggs falling into the chatzer. prior to the eggs falling into the chutzner. So at that moment, in this very specific time frame, when the majority of the egg has exited the mother, but the egg has not fallen into the chutzner, so the birds will be subject to shiluach because the chutzner has not yet acquired the eggs. If that's the case, that the chutzner has not acquired the eggs, then what? Amai asuros mishum gezel. Then we'll say, again, that's fine. I could live with that answer. That's all right. Tell me that again in this very specific moment when the majority of the egg has exited the mother, but the egg has not dropped into the chutzner. The mother will be the eggs are chayiv for shiluach because the chutzner has not yet acquired the eggs. If the chutzner has not yet acquired the eggs, then why would there be any kind of chayiv of gezel? So which the Gemara says, you're right, ha'imam. When we said that there is a halacha of gezel mishum darkei shalom, that's not on the eggs. What is that on? That's on the mother. It's on the mother. Look at Rashi, Rabbi say, three lines into the wide lines. A'iman, darkei shalom deka'amar afilu al ha'im atzma yesh mishum darkei shalom. So we'll say, interestingly enough, the Gemara says over here, that when we said that the bird is subject to gezel mishum darkei shalom, that wasn't talking about the chicks, but rather again, that was talking about the mother. That was talking about the mother. And therefore, again, halacha l'maisa, the specific case that we're dealing with over here is that the eggs, the majority of the egg exited the mother, therefore chayiv in shiluach, has not yet dropped to the chutzner, therefore not acquired by the chutzner, but the gezel mishum darkei shalom is not on the eggs. The gezel mishum darkei shalom is on the mother, to which the Gemara says, the other possibility is the Olam HaBeitza. No, the darkei shalom statement is on the beitza, is on the egg. And what? Ubeitza Kivan de nafek le ruba daite ale. And I will say, when the owner of the coop, right, when the owner of the shovach, the dovecote, sees the majority of the egg exit the mother, his das is on it. Then I will say, now let's analyze this. Now that his das is on it, does that acquire it for him? No. But what it does is it creates a perception of ownership. And that's why Chazal come along and say, because there's a perception of ownership, don't take the egg, don't steal the egg, mishum darkei shalom. Is it real theft if you come in and you grab the egg? No, it's not. Because I will say, remember again, having das, seeing something and say, oh wow, I'm so excited to own it, does not make you own it. You have to own something through specific halachic mechanisms. But because his das is on it, Chazal said, and it's in, and remember again, this ownerless bird is in his dovecote, Chazal said, don't go ahead and take the egg. Because darkei shalom. Beautiful. So the Gemara says, V'hashad Amrav Yehuda Amrav Asr L'Zakos Bebeitzim She'im Rovetzes Aleihem. And now that Rav Yehuda is the name of Rav, that's what? You cannot acquire eggs that the mother is sitting on. Shene Emar Shaleach Es Ha'im V'hadra Barim Tikach Lach. So we'll say, so now listen to this. Now that we said that you can't acquire eggs that the mother is sitting on. Why? Because the pasuk says, send away the mother, and then take the kids, then take the offspring. Afilu tema, afagav the nafal lechatzero. So we'll say, then you could even say that we're dealing with a case. So remember, up until this point where we're setting up this case, I will say, is that we're talking about a situation where the majority of the egg, right, ownerless birds that have nestled in someone's dovecote. Now what occurred? Halacha l'maisa, again, the majority of the egg has exited the mother, at which point in time the chi of shiluach has set in, yet what? The dovecote has not acquired the eggs on behalf of the owners. The mishum gezel mishum darkei shalom is one of two things. Either you can't take the mother, mishum darkei shalom, or you can't take the eggs, mishum darkei shalom. Now the Gemara says, well, one second. The truth is, now that we just said before, that you can't take the eggs until the mother gets off the eggs. So the Gemara says, even if it's a case where the egg actually fell into the chatzar, I will say, how does kinyan chatzar work? Kinyan chatzar could only acquire something that you could acquire yourself. And Abba say, if you can't acquire it, your chatzar also can't acquire it. So we'll say this is actually amazing. Iike, so we'll listen to this. What does this mean? So remember again, as long as the mother is sitting on the eggs, do you have the ability to acquire the eggs? And the answer is no. Right? You have to send away the mother in order to acquire the eggs. We'll say the halacha is kinyan chatzar. We saw this again many a times. My chatzar is an extension of me. And therefore, by definition, whatever I can do, my chatzar can do. Whatever I can't do, my chatzar can't do. Therefore, halacha l'maisa, if I will say again, I can't acquire the eggs because the mother's sitting on them, my chatzar can't acquire them either. So even if you want to set this up as a case where the mother fully delivered the egg, and the egg fell into the chatzar still can't acquire the egg on behalf of the mother, because halacha l'maisa, the chatzar can't acquire the egg on behalf of the owner of the chatzar, right? In this case, again, the shovach, the owner of the dovecote, because the mother's still sitting on them. Iachi, if that's the case, Amayasuros mipnei darki shalom. If that's the case, then why are the eggs asra al darki shalom? Here we go. Id the shalcha, if you sent away the mother bird, gezel ma'alyu. So say, if I sent away the mother bird, then the owner of the shovach has officially acquired the eggs. Id the lo shalcha, and if ultimately again I have not sent away the mother bird, shaluchei boy. Ultimately again, you have to send away the mother birds before you can do anything with the eggs. To which the Gemara says, bikatan. What are we talking about? This is actually amazing. Look at Rashi for just a moment. Bikatan. Where is it? Bikatan, thank you. 6 lines up. Bikatan. Delav bar shiluachu. We'll say, so what happened over here? We're talking about over here with a katan, a child, who is obviously not obligated in the midst of shiluach. And what happened? So we'll say, watch this. A katan came into the egg to the shavach and took the eggs. He took the eggs without what? Without sending away the mother. Without sending away the mother. To which the Gemara says, 1 second. So bekatan bar darki shalamu. So it's a very simple case. Kid came into the dovecote, took the eggs, didn't send away the mother. So I say, so now what? So it's a kid, right? A kid is not responsible for his actions, right? Halachically in certain respects. So therefore, again, what's the gezel? What's the theft over here? To it is a child obligated in darkei shalom? Hachi kamar. This is what the Brisa means to say. Aviv shal katan chayiv lahachzir lo mipnei darkei shalom. I'll say this is amazing. Parents are responsible for what their kids do, and therefore halacha l'maisa. If my kid takes eggs from the chicken coop, right, from the dovecote, halacha l'maisa, I, the father, am obligated to return them. Alts darkei shalom. Did my kid actually commit an act of theft? On a technical level, the answer is no, probably. You could set it up that way. But because of darkei shalom, ultimately, again, I'm obligated to go ahead and give back the eggs. So we'll say, so therefore, again, 2 different models in this, right? Either, again, one potential is the darkei shalom is on the mother, one potential is the darkei shalom is on the eggs, and the other possibility is that the darkei shalom is a case of a katan who ends up taking the eggs of an ownerless bird from the shovach, which belongs to someone, and ultimately the Brisa tells me, father, mother, good idea to return the eggs that your kids took from someone's shovach, even though those eggs came from an ownerless dovecote, al darkei shalom. Good. So let's go weiter. So the Gemara says as follows. Good. Levi bar Simon. I'm about to say last 2 lines. Levi bar Simon, akni peiros shovchol Rabbi Yehuda. Supposed to say, so Levi bar Simon went ahead and gave over the peiros of his shovach to Rabbi Yehuda. Supposed to say, now watch what happened over here. So in this situation, Levi bar Simon gave over the peiros shovcho. So he had offspring. He had offspring from his dovecote that he gave over to someone. So to Rabbi Yehuda. Asli coming to Shmuel. Supposed to listen to this. So he came before Shmuel. Now both say, so understand what's happening. Levi owns the dovecote. Levi is selling or giving over the dovecote to Rav Yehuda. Rav Yehuda comes before Shmuel. I was like coming to Shmuel, and he comes to Shmuel, and presumably he asks Shmuel, look at Rashi, so we'll see what Rav Yehuda was actually asking Shmuel, but Shmuel says to him, Amalei, zil tirof akan, diliskabo v'kaninu. Go over and bang on the dovecote, so that literally translated liskabu v'kaninu, so that the birds lift themselves up, sit back down, so that you acquire them. Okay, so the Gemara, look at Rashi. Dilis kabinhu mirascha. Ultimately, again, the birds will be startled. As a result of being startled, they'll lift up the nest, then they'll settle back down. So the Gemara says, "Lemai, I don't understand what's happening over here. Ila mikna." If what Shmuel was advising Rav Yehuda was how to acquire the birds, then there's another way to acquire the birds. Likninhu le besudar. Rabbi say you could do what's called the Kinyan Sudar. You're all well versed in this now with selling your chametz, right? So you could do a Kinyan Sudar, right? So Rabbi say, in other words, you don't have to go ahead and rattle the dovecote. Just do a Kinyan Sudar, and that's going to mean enough. Rashi says, Likninu b'Sudar, v'lam b'chutzrach Rav Yehuda lishol heich yikna. And I don't understand. Rabbi say, what's the problem over here? Let ultimately again. Let Levi go ahead and let them do a Kinyan Sudar. It's a Ibi Yamtiv. So I'll say, if we're dealing with a case of Yamtiv, and what's the situation over here? Look at Rashi. V'im li Yamtov, last Rashi on the daf. Shu erev Yamtov u'lamachar yasur mishum muktzah u'bav lishal b'mahachantem lama li haytir chalutrov hakan. Listen to this. So maybe the issue is a Yamtiv issue. The halach is, we saw this in the Mishnah Maseches Beah, which is that if you have a dovecote, and you want to use some of those doves on Yom Tiv, you have to be meichen them. You have to prepare them. So maybe what Shmuel was telling Rav Yehuda was what? Go ahead and knock on the dovecote, right there for the birds get up, that's actively preparing them, and then when they settle back down, they're fit for Yom Tiv use. There's an easier way. Top of Kuf Mem Beis, Ba'omed, Ibi Yom Tiv, Ba'omed, Va'omer Za'ani Notel, V'Za'ani Notel, Sagya. Both say for Yom Tiv, it's enough just to say what? It's enough just to say I'm going to eat this one, and I'm going to eat that one, and I'm going to eat that one. Or it's enough even to be memane them bal peh without going ahead and doing anything. To which the Gemara says, what's the case over here? Hano peri charati havu. The Levi bar Simon gufei lo hava kanilu. But in reality, there were new eggs in the nest. New eggs in the nest. Levi himself, right, in other words, the owner of the nest, or the owner of the dovecote, I should say, did not even acquire these new eggs himself. Look at Rashi. Pericharati shetila osama'in v'lo amda me'alei me'olam v'lo kanselo chatzeru delevi the asr lazako spain kozman shem rovetzasayim. So let's remember again, this is what we just said before. The only time that the coop has the ability, the chatzer has the ability to acquire the eggs is when? At some point in time when the mother leaves the nest. But if the mother has never left the nest, the chutzner, in this case the dovecote, does not have the ability to go ahead and acquire the eggs. So watch what happens over it. It's actually quite fascinating. Levi is selling this dovecote to Rav Yehuda. So Rav Yehuda he knows how to acquire a dovecote, Sudar is going to be fine. The problem is, interestingly enough, there are eggs in this dovecote that have not yet been acquired by the chutzner of the dovecote. So now, Rabbi Yehuda comes to Shmuel and says, Rabbi, how do I acquire the eggs? To which Shmuel says, very simple. Go to the dovecote, knock on the wall of the dovecote. What's going to happen? The mothers will fly, right? They'll lift off the nest. When they lift off the nest, in that moment, the chutzner has the ability to acquire the eggs. Now watch this. So the Gemara says, so listen to this interesting eitzah. Zil v'tarafakan delis kabinu v'nikninu Levi bar Simon v'hadr likninu b'nehelech b'sudar. So it says, listen to what Shmuel's advice was. Shmuel's advice to Rav Yehuda was, before you buy this from Levi, here's what you should do: go over to the nest. Knock on the I keep saying nest. Shovach. Knock on the dovecote. Right. Knock on the dovecote. Let the birds take flight. Let Levi then acquire everything in the dovecote. Now he owns the mothers. He owns the eggs. Now you could acquire the entire dovecote, ultimately with a Kinyan Sudar, with a normative Kinyan, and now you are the owner of everything in the dovecote. Beautiful. Mishnah. Lo yita adam eima labanim. Afil letaras hamitzora. Both say the halacha is that a person, we actually saw this in yesterday's daf, a person should not go ahead and take the mother, right, without sending her away first, even if it's for the purpose of a mitzvah, right? This we saw, both say this was yesterday's daf. Even for the purpose of a mitzvah, halacha l'maisa, a mitzvah does not, even a mitzvah usage for the bird does not obviate the mitzvah of shiluach hakein. So the Gemara says, Umay mitzvah kala sheiki iser. Both say, if even a very small mitzvah that only costs you an iser, they will say, now what does that mean? So the mitzvah of shiluach hakein doesn't cost you any money. at most, what might it cost you? A little bit of time. A little bit of time. Isser is a very small denomination of a coin. So what it means is the mitzvah of Shiluach HaKein there's virtually no investment on my part. Yet Amra Torah L'man Yitav L'cha V'arachta Yamim. Yet the pasuk says it shall be good for you and you will enjoy longevity. Incredible schar. Kal v'chomer amitzos chamura shebatorah. I will say if this is the schar, if this is the reward that the Torah promises for a relatively easy mitzvah, then imagine the schar we get for more difficult mitzvahs. Rashi says, Shiki Isser, She'in Bachi Saron Kis Ela Davar Muat. Again, there's very little effort involved ultimately, again, in the midst of Shiluach HaKein, yet there's so much reward. Imagine the reward we actually get for difficult mitzvahs. Incredible. Says the Gemara Tanya, Tevei Rabbi Yaakov Omer, Ein lecha kol mitzvah u mitzvah shebetorah, shematan schara bitzida, shein tchias hamesim tuluya ba. So let's listen to this. Rabbi Yaakov says, that every single mitzvah in the Torah that mentions schar, so again, attached to that schar is tchias hamesim, which I will say means what? Which means Rabbi Yaakov is going to say that every single time the Torah mentions schar, that's not for schar in this world. That's for schar in Olam Haba. That's for schar in the world to come. Right? So the Gemara says, so for example, Kibod Ava'im Ksiv, L'man Ya'arichun Yamecha, U'Leman Yitav Lach. So by honoring your parents, I will say, it says you shall enjoy longevity and it shall be good for you. B'shiluach hakein, by sending away the mother bird, it says, Ksiv, L'man Yitav L'cha V'arachta Yamim. So I'll say, so listen to what Rabbi Yaakov says. But what about the following case? Hari sha'amar lo aviv alei lebira. So let's say the following case. A father tells his child, go up, my son, to the bira. Right? Bira literally means like a tower. But let's say a father tells his son, go up to the nest that's high up in the tower. V'havili gozlos, and bring me the young chicks. Va'allah, the child goes up. V'shalach hasaim, and the child sends away the mother bird. V'lakach hasabanim, and then only takes the chicks. Ubechazarasa nafal meis. And what happens? Nebuch, as the child is coming down from the tree, the child falls down and dies. Heichan arichos yamim shalzeh, v'heichan tovasa shalzeh. Tell me, says Rabbi Yaakov, where is the arichos yamim for this child? Where is the tova for this child? Ella leman ya'arichon yamech. So we'll say, Rabbi Yaakov is, in this case, remember there are two things happening simultaneously, which is what? Kibud aveim and shiluach hakein. Both mitzvos that carry with them the reward of Laman Ya'arichon Yamecha, longevity. Rabbi Yaakov says you have this situation where a father sends his son to go up the high tree to go ahead and get the birds. Right? The son listens. He sends away the mother bird. He listens to his father. He listens to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he comes back down from the tree and he falls off the tree and dies. So where's the Arichos Yamim in that? So the Gemara says, rather, what does it mean? Ella Laman Ya'arichon Yamecha Ba'olam Shekula Arach. What does it mean that your days will be arach, right? To have longevity in the world of longevity, in the Yom Shekula, Ba'olam Shekula Arach, which I will say is a reference to Olam Haba. Olam Yitav Lacha, it shall be good for you, Li Olam Shekulo Tov, in the world which is all good. So ultimately, again, Rabbi Yaakov understands that whenever the Torah speaks about Laman Yarichun Yamecha, Laman Yitav Lach, these are rewards ultimately again in the world to come. These are rewards in the world to come. Rewards in the world to come. So as I say, the Gemara says, "V'doma lo havahachi." Rabbi Yaakov, you're concocting a case, but who says a case like this ever occurred? To which the Gemara says, Rabbi Yaakov, ma'isa. I'll say Rabbi Yaakov is not concocting a case. Rabbi Yaakov is telling you something that he actually saw. He saw this episode. And upon seeing this episode, led him to understand that Laman Ya'arichun Yamecha, the longevity that the Torah promises, Laman Yitavlach, the bracha of Tov that HaKadosh Baruch Hu promises to both say, is not in this world, but rather ultimately, again, it is in the world to come. Now I will say, I want to tell you something about this, which is incredibly important. Let's finish this and then I'll tell you something important. V'dilma Mahara Ba'avera Hava. Well, how do you know? Maybe this young man, maybe he was being Mahara Ba'avera. Maybe he had Avera thoughts, and that's why he was being punished. To which the Gemara says, "Machshava ra'ina Kadosh Baruch Hu mitzarfa l'maisa." thank God for this, right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu does not treat Avera thoughts like actions. Rabbi say otherwise, every single one of us would be doomed, right? So HaKadosh Baruch Hu does not. So again, that's good news that by Avera thoughts, HaKadosh Baruch Hu does not treat it like a Maisa. I've Dilma Bahara Ba'avodah Zara Hava. Maybe the young man. But so when you say child doesn't have to mean like a minor, like a katan. Maybe the young man was thinking about avodah zara, and I will say avodah zara is the one avera that you are held accountable for avodah zara thoughts. Dichsev leman tafos es beis Yisrael belibam. But the pasuk literally says, and in Yecheskel, and I will hold beis Yisrael accountable for that which is in their heart. The Navi is talking about over here, this is by avodah zara, that you are held accountable by avodah zara that you think about. This is what it means to say, Im isa diika schar mitzvahs bahai alma tihanile. Let's say this is what Rabbi Yaakov was saying. If there really was schar mitzvah, then even if this kid was having thoughts of avodah zara, the schar of those mitzvos should have helped him in this circumstance. Okay, let's say he's going up the tree. He's going up the tree. He's honoring his father. He filled mitzvah shiluach hakein. Let's say, even for argument's sake, he is thinking about that went faster than I thought. What should I do with the rest of my day? Let me worship avodah zara. Right? Even if he was thinking about that on the way down, the schar of these mitzvos should have helped him. That's what Rabbi Yaakov is theologically positing. Let's say even if he was thinking about avodah zara, he just went ahead and fulfilled the mitzvah of kibbur avayim and shiluach hakeim. Both mitzvahs would carry with them the manyita avlach and arichosem, longevity. Why would those mitzvahs have not helped him in the face even of this heinous aveira? Rather, Rabbi Yaakov says, leads me to one conclusion. The Gemara says, "Evrachi kamar imisi d'schar mitzvahs b'hai alma tahanile v'tagin aleh d'lolei selidei hirur v'lesik." So again, those mitzvahs should have helped him not to come to the negative thoughts of avodah zara to begin with, and if he was going to have the negative thoughts of avodah zara, they should have helped to what? To shield him from the punishment. Ella, rather, Rabbi Yaakov arrives at a dramatic theological conclusion: schar mitzvah b'hai alma leka. Rather, again, ultimately, I'm going to say that what? There is no reward for mitzvahs in this world. The Rabbi say, now this is incredibly important. What does this mean? Now the Archaim HaKadosh raises the point, because remember, look at the beginning of Parshas Bechukosai. What does the Torah say? In Bechukosai telechu mitzvasai tishmoru. If you keep my mitzvos. And the Rabbi say, what does the Torah HaKadosh itself talk about? Material reward. Right? Your flocks, your money, your crop, all this stuff. So the Archaim says something amazing. That will say something different. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, if you go ahead and you demonstrate a ratzon to serve me, I will help you along that path. That's a concept of b'derech sha'adam rotzeh leilech molichinoso. The path that you choose for yourself, that's the path that HaKadosh Baruch Hu helps you along. If I show HaKadosh Baruch Hu that I want to serve him, then what? So we know that very often the greatest obstacle to ruchnius is Gashmios. I always say, when a person struggles financially, everything in life, you read these stories of tzaddikim who lived in abject poverty and still went ahead and served the HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's great. That's why they're tzaddikim, right? For most of us who are not tzaddikim, I will say, so financial pressures are something, right? The Gemara says, anius ma'avirin adam midas kono. When the ani struggles, and you have to struggle financially, it is very difficult to go ahead and be a spiritual person if you don't know how you're going to pay your bills. That's the reality. So our Chaim HaKadosh says, that's in Leukocyte telechu. If you choose to go ahead and follow in my mitzvos, I will help you along that path by going ahead and what? By providing you ultimately again with money. But that's not schar for your mitzvahs. That's not schar. We'll say, what is that? What is that? That's investment capital. That's HaKadosh Baruch Hu saying, I want to be a partner in your spiritual ventures, and therefore, again, I'm giving you the startup capital. I'm the silent partner, God says, right? You're going to be the active partner. I'm going to be the investment partner. I'm going to invest in you. I'm going to give you everything you need for your gashmius so that you could be able to focus on your ruchnius. But that's not schar for your mitzvos. Schar for your mitzvos doesn't come in this world. Schar for your mitzvos ultimately comes in the next world. Schar mitzvah b'ha'amaleka. V'hamar Rabbi Lazar, shluchei mitzvah inu nizukim b'chazar, right? V'hamar Rabbi Lazar, shluchei mitzvah inu nizukim. But 1 second, back to the case of the kid who died. But don't we say that shluchei mitzvah inu nizakin, that ultimately, again, if you're on a mitzvah shlichos, you don't get harmed, and yet again, this young man died from coming down the tree, right? B'chazarasam shiny. It's different. Shluchei mitzvah are not nizuk when you're protected by the mitzvah. I'll say when you're on your way to do the mitzvah, the protection does not develop upon you on the way back. Is that true? The Gemara says, "V'ha amar Rabbi Lazar, shluchei mitzvah inu nizakin, lo ba'alichasa v'lo b'chazarasan." Oh, what you got now? Right? It's not true. Shluchei mitzvah will say are protected when they go and when they come. Right? You are protected by the mitzvah in the shlichus when you go for the shlichus and you come back from the shlichus. So he was asking a shayla on this particular episode. How is it that this young man fell off the tree and died when he should have been protected by the mitzvah? To which the Gemara says, Sulam ra'ua hava umakam de kavua hazeka shiny. Well, so listen to this incredible idea. What happened? It was a rickety ladder. And Rabbi said, this is very important. It's true. Shluchei mitzvah inu nizakin. If you're on a mitzvah mission, the mitzvah protects you. But the mitzvah protects you as long as what? You protect yourself. In other words, you have to take the normative steps to assure your own safety and security. I will say it's an incredible Gemara, and so much to say over here. Of course, Chlish Baruch Hu helps us. Chlish Baruch Hu helps us with every single step we take. Chlish Baruch Hu says, you live in the natural world. In the natural world, you have to take care of yourself as well. D'chsev v'yomer Shmuel eich elech v'shama Shaul v'harageni. I will say this is when Chlish Baruch Hu commands Shmuel Hanavi to go and anoint one of the sons of Yishai. Shaul is still alive. So Shmuel says, how do you want me to go and anoint another king? And Shaul's going to hear this. And what is Shaul going to do? He's going to kill me. So the Gemara is asking, Shmuel, what are you worried about? God told you to go take care of it. If God told you to go take care of it, then what? You're golden, nothing to worry about. No. You see that even though we say Shluchei mitzvah inu nizakin, the Shaliach mitzvah still has to take the proper steps to assure his own safety and security. So apparently, again, this episode ultimately, again, was the Sulam Ra'ua. So the Gemara says, Amar Rav Yosef, this is incredible. Mole darshe acher lahaikra ki Rabbi Yaakov bar Barte lo chata. So we'll say, listen to this. Had only acher, we'll say who's acher? Alicia ben Avuya. Had only Alicia ben Avuya understood the pasuk like Rabbi Yaakov, the son of his daughter. We'll say, isn't this incredible? Rabbi Yaakov was the son of Alicia ben Avuya's daughter, which means Rabbi Yaakov was Alicia ben Avuya's grandson. Rabbi Yaakov just made the drasha, that's what Rabbi say. Leman ya'arichun yamecha, leman yitavlach. Doesn't only applies where? In Olam Haba, not in this world. Had only Alicia ben Avuya understood the drasha of his grandson, he could have saved himself from a life of apikarsus. Why? My chaza. What did Alicia see? What did Alicia ben Avuya see that caused him to leave the fold? Iike da amri kihai maisa. So some say he mamish saw this episode. He saw this episode that Rabbi Yaakov witnessed. He saw the young man, going up in accordance with the command of his father, ultimately to the tree, send away the mother bird, come down. In fact, Rabbi say the Medrash in Koheles Rabbah has a different version. In the Medrash of Koheles Rabbah, Elisha ben Avuya is sitting babikas Ginosar. He's sitting in the area of Ginosar, which is right, it's in the north of Eretz Yisrael. He's sitting in Ginosar. On Shabbos, he sees a guy go ahead and climb the tree, send away the mother bird, come back down unharmed. 2 violations: climbing a tree, which is Issa D'Rabbanan, not sending away the mother bird, taking the chicks without sending away the mother bird, he comes down fine. Matzeh Shabbos, he sees another young man whose father asked him to go get the chicks. The young man waits till after Shabbos, sends away the mother bird, comes back down, is bitten by a snake and dies. So in the Medrash version, not only does he see a young man who fulfilled the mitzvah of Shiluach HaKain and the mitzvah of Kibud Aim, and comes back and falls off the tree and dies senselessly, he sees the contrast. He sees someone who is Mechalo Shabbos and Mechalo the Mitzvahs go up and down unharmed, and a young man who went ahead and did both of these mitzvahs, Kibud Aveim and Shiluach HaKain, and dies in such a random way. And this leads Elisha ben Avuya to say, less din v'less dayan. There's no God, there's no judge, there's no justice, there's no reward. How could this happen? Nebuch. And what happens, Elisha ben Avuya? You just misunderstood a pasuk. You just misunderstood a pasuk. You thought that Leman Ya'arichun Yamecha meant this world. Had you only known the drasha of your enagol, right? Had you only known the drasha of your grandson, that Leman Ya'arichun Yamecha Leman Yitavlach does not apply in this world, but it's for the next world. Yes, there's investment capital. That's Parshas Bechukosai. Kadosh Baruch Hu gives us Gashmius to help us along in our spiritual journey, but that's not the reward ultimately, again, for the mitzvos. So the Gemara says that's one possibility. Vika de Amri Lisha de Chutzpis HaTorgiman Chaza Dava Muteles Ba'ashba. But the other possibility is, what did Alicia ben Avuya see that led him to a life of apostasy, the life of Apikarsos? He saw the tongue of Chutzpis HaTorgiman. But say Chutzpis HaTorgiman was the Torgiman for Rabbi Gamliel. He was one of the Asar Harugei Malchus, one of the 10 martyrs. And what the Romans did is, before they executed him, they cut out his tongue and they threw it to the pigs. They threw it to the Chazerim, the Medrash says. And he said, and Alicia ben Avuya sees, and he says, Amar, Peshebik Marglios Yelachoch Afar. Ultimately, again, the mouth that said such beautiful gems of Torah is now discarded in the garbage heap, and that leads Alicia ben Avuya to leave the fold. V'hulo yada, and Alicia ben Avuya did not know. Leman yitav lach ba'olam shekula tov, leman ya'arichon yamecha ba'olam shekula arach. And Alicia ben Avuya Nebuch did not know the drasha of his grandson. Leman yitav lach, yes, it will be good for you. Not that, but that promise is not for this world. That promise is for the world to come. Ba'olam shekula tov, leman ya'arichon yamecha, you will enjoy longevity, but that's ba'olam shekula arach. That ultimately, again, is in the world that is forever, in Olam Haba. And had only Alicia ben Avuya understood this drasha, had only understood that, Rabbi said, then what? Then ultimately, again, he could have saved himself from a life of incredible pain and apostasy. Rabbi said, I'll just This is the sheet of Rabbi Yaakov. You know, of course, through our journeys in Shas, this statement is not agreed on by all. The concept of schar mitzvah hay alma ika hay alma leka, is the reward for mitzvahs in this world or not, is a fundamental theological debate. But Rabbi Yaakov is obviously advancing a very cogent argument that many subscribe to. And I'll tell you something amazing. There's a story, there's a beautiful maisa, that a man once came to Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Berdichev, and he said, Rebbe, your Torah is false. Your Torah is false. So the Rebbe said, how can you say such a thing like this? So he said, I'll tell you. The pasuk says in Shema, V'haya'im shamoa tishmua mitzvosai. You will go ahead, right, if you listen to my mitzvahs. So again, once we say it every single day, twice a day, Kadosh Baruch Hu will go ahead and give us all of this reward. So the man says to the Rebbe, your Torah is a liar, Torah is a falsehood. Why? Because I'm fabulously wealthy, and yet I don't observe one thing. I don't observe one thing. So Rabbi Levi Yitzchak looks at him and he says, my dear child, the fact that you can ask me this shaila means that you've read Kriyas Shema at least one time in your life, and there is not enough money in the world to ever repay you for that one mitzvah. I was saying, we are so privileged. You know, we're going into a Yom Tov when we celebrate the birth of our nation. And the birth of our nation ultimately is solidified and concretized by Har Sinai when we get to Torah, all of our mitzvos. And I will say, sometimes we don't realize the incredible treasure we have. There's not enough money in the world for one Shema. There's not enough money in the world for one Hanachas Tefillin. And it's true, maybe there's not reward for mitzvos in this world. But one thing we know, which is, if we demonstrate to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that we want to live a life of ruchnius, that we want to live a life ultimately again of devotion to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then the Ribono Shel Olam will help us along that way, Rabbi. He will give us the investment capital to go ahead and be successful. But we have to demonstrate the ratzon. We have to demonstrate the will. We have to show through our actions, through our lifestyle, that we want a life of Kiddusha. And if we want that, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu will say, okay, you demonstrated the ratzon, I'll be the silent partner, I'll be the capital partner, I'll be the investment partner, I'll give you what you need to actualize your spiritual goals. But we have to make the declaration, not just in word, but in deed. And even if there's not going to be a reward in this world, Rabbi say, the knowledge that every single mitzvah we do, big or small, provides incredible light and incredible spiritual treasure in the Yom Shekula Arach, in the Olam Shekala Arach, in the Olam Shekula Tov, we'll say something absolutely incredible. We will make the official siyum of Miras Hashem from Maseches Chullin after the Yom Tov. You'll stay tuned for details. We'll say it has been an incredible privilege to go through this 142 blot journey with all of you. And in Miras Hashem, we should be zocha to continue to make the journey together through Shas. I will say, we're beginning a new Masechta at a very delicate time. because again, going into Yom Tiv, there's many different distractions in Yom Tiv. Sometimes, again, it's just the Yom Tov preparation. Sometimes it's family. Sometimes it's the 24-hour tea room, right? But there are distractions. There are distractions. There was for everyone. Yom Tov is a time not to lose traction with Daf Yomi. Yom Tov is a time to redouble your efforts with Daf Yomi. If you're not working, that doesn't mean that, I have more time for recreation, more time for food, more time for more outfits. It means I have more time to learn. Right? If you're going away, you're going to be on vacation. I will say that's not, oh my gosh, how do I fit in Daf Yomi? It's counterintuitive. If I'm going to have time on my hands, Shabbat say we all will over the course of Yom Tiv. That means I have more time to learn, not less time to learn. Make sure if you're not going to be over Yom Tiv or you're not going to be in a place where there's a shir, which is impossible, there's always a shir. Wherever you go, I will say that at the end of the day, attend it. The Maggie shir is not my speed. Who cares, right? Go ahead and just show up and just do your own thing. A lot of people do this every day when they come here to shir, right? I will say, right? So go ahead. I'm not looking at anyone specific, right? And I will say, but again, that's okay. That's okay because sometimes the entire point is just to show up. Just to show up, you want to do your own thing, that's fine, but at least you're showing up and you're doing your own thing. Hopefully that own thing includes a blot of Gemara. We'll say, this is the time to redouble. We're at the home stretch, we'll say. We're in Bechoros. We're in Bechoros. Who's ever learned Bechoros before, right? And the answer is, it's going to be you come tomorrow morning. We'll say, stay stark. There's a lot of time, there's a drop-off over Yom Tiv. I'm saying this now because tomorrow our ranks will be severely depleted, even more. Right? I'll say there's a big drop-off over Yom Tiv. Don't be one of the Yom Tiv casualties. My heart breaks. There's always a Yom Tiv casualty. Just like there's a winter vacation casualty list, there's a Yom Tiv casualty list. Don't be a Yom Tiv casualty. This is Zman Chirusenu. This is not the time to drop off. This is the time to redouble the effort. So if you're going away and you don't have an art scroll, this is not a commercial, but you don't have an art scroll, Gemara will say, stop at Chapsies. They have late hours till 11 p.m. tonight. Get a Gemara. And I would say something else. Don't borrow a Gemara. Get your own Gemara. If you have enough money to go away, you have enough money to buy a Gemara. Right? I will say, it's an investment. It's an investment in yourself. Again, you could borrow if you don't have a chance to get it, right? But I will say, it's an investment in your learning. Because when you go out and you plop down the $25 to get a Gemara, what you're saying is, I'm in this. I'm in this. And I will say, we'd be given such a gift, like the Rebbe says, one Kriyas Shema fills up an entire afterlife with schar. If one Kriyas Shema does that, then what does one blot Gemara do? We'll say tomorrow we begin the next adventure, Mirat Hashem Meseches Bechoros. An adventure, I'm telling you, if you haven't seen it, you're going to absolutely love it. We should be Zoche Mirat Hashem to finish Mesechtos. We should be Zoche Mirat Hashem to begin Mesechtos. And we should Mirat Hashem continue to march on to our ultimate goal of finishing Shas. Shkach Elosai. The Paradise, yeah.